and just think outside the box and get the views.
Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time.
Boxing is the best, the purest, the most beautiful sport in the world when the best fight the best.
I mean, I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you got to close it out. That's fine.
Us fighters who get in the ring and risk our lives, there's enough pie for everyone to pass around.
Oscar De La Hoya believes that when a boxer starts earning 7- or 8-figure paydays near the end of his career, mistakes are bound to happen. He pointed this out while talking about Terence Crawford, who recently proved his greatness by defeating Canelo Alvarez. According to De La Hoya, this big win could also create serious challenges ahead. He gave a clear warning about the risks Crawford now faces, especially if he takes on Jermell Charlo, a fight that's far more complicated than it appears. It's easy for people to criticize after things happen, but De La Hoya was one of the few who predicted Crawford would actually beat Canelo.
Crawford versus Canelo, which I feel Crawford will win.
Yeah. Okay.
But it'll be a great fight.
Yeah.
In a conversation with Ariel Helwani, Oscar De La Hoya said the result didn't surprise him at all. He not only predicted who would win, but also explained exactly why, days before the fight even started.
I've always been impressed with Terence. Yeah.
He's surprised?
I was not surprised at all. I mean, I called it, I don't know how many days before.
De La Hoya, who had supported Canelo for many years, said, "I know Canelo very well. I'm fully aware of what he can handle and what he can't.
I know Canelo. I promoted him. I know exactly what he cannot handle and what he can handle, where he looks great and where he doesn't. And Crawford was the perfect opponent or fighter to derail the train. That was the bottom line. You move on Canelo just a little bit, and he gets lost."
De La Hoya was confident in his prediction when Canelo's momentum came to a halt because he knew exactly what was coming. That same insight is what he's now using to guide Crawford on what to do next. It wasn't just a lucky call. He saw the weaknesses clearly. A sharp, calculated fighter exposed Canelo's flaws in a way no one else could. According to De La Hoya, the real issue wasn't power or chin, it was movement. He explained that Canelo struggles when his opponent keeps moving, saying his feet stay planted, turning him into an easy target for a precise boxer like Crawford.
God, it makes me horny.
Yeah, baby.
To tell you I told you so.
I told you.
I predicted the Canelo Crawford fight like a goddamn fortune teller.
You're the Oracle?
Canelo's feet were cemented on the canvas as he was hitting air. What the was that? Props to Crawford.
Thank you.
He came up 3 weight classes and fought a beautiful fight.
Good job.
What a great performance.
Did you get what you was looking for?
Like taking candy from a baby.
My cat.
On Clapback Thursday, Oscar De La Hoya repeated that Crawford completely outclassed Canelo, making him look foolish in the ring. He also fired back at those claiming Canelo lost because of age, pointing out that Crawford is actually older and proved that wasn't an excuse.
Played with Canelo, made him look silly. And before you start with your shit about Canelo being old, just know that Crawford is older.
I'm too old.
That's not an excuse here. Look, I promoted Canelo's entire career.
Put some respect on it.
And it was a huge fluff.
How do you like them apps?
The only real fighters he's faced were Mayweather, Bivol, and Crawford, and they all toyed with him.
This moment matters because it highlights the clear gap between Crawford's skill and Canelo's particular weakness. Crawford's victory came from exploiting that exact flaw, but his next opponent might not have the same weakness, which could make things much tougher.
And it'll silence a lot of doubters. Not all of them, but it'll silence a lot of doubters, and he can move on to the next challenge. And then that next challenge is possibly a top 10 in the world.
I think the smaller Charlo could be even more dangerous. The smaller Charlo has speed and fights harder, and he's in your face. It's a great payday for him, and he's obviously he took that into consideration when making the decision. It's going to be a tough task. I mean, 2 weight divisions is historical. If he wins, and 2 weight divisions, if he loses, he has the perfect excuse. I moved up 2 weight divisions.
It often comes down to finding the best way to beat a specific opponent, and there's no avoiding that. When Ariel Helwani asked De La Hoya if Crawford would retire as champion, he gave a firm no. His reason was simple: Once a fighter starts earning 7 or 8-figure paydays, new temptations appear. According to De La Hoya, that's Crawford's biggest challenge right now. It's not about punches, hooks, or weight classes, it's about the money. He's seen it happen before. When boxers reach that stage, they lose some of the hunger that once drove them. The problem isn't skipping training, it's in the choices of when, who, and why to fight. Big money can make even the best fighters a little too comfortable, and that changes everything.
Crawford afterwards hinting at maybe retirement. Do you think he retires? No,
Not at all.
Now he's making the big bucks, right?
Well, now he has a taste of 7 figures, you know, 8 figures, whatever it might be. Once you get a taste of that, towards the end of your career, you're gonna make a few mistakes.
The key advice here is to recognize when your motivation shifts from chasing greatness to chasing money. That's when you become vulnerable. Terence Crawford is now at that point. He's on top of the world, calls are coming in non-stop, and every offer sounds massive. It's easy to think nothing can go wrong. But that's exactly when, according to De La Hoya, danger strikes, and that danger could be Jermell Charlo. De La Hoya warned that picking Charlo might be a big mistake. Why? Because Charlo is more dangerous than Canelo. He's not surprised easily, he's strong at 154 pounds, and he's got unfinished business after his loss to Canelo. Charlo represents the classic trap fight, the kind of opponent a champion might overlook while chasing another big payday, only to find himself in serious trouble.
Hey, what's up, guys? Canelo Charlo, super boring fight. I mean, he just showed up for a paycheck. Canelo, obviously, like I said, on quicksand, throwing bombs. He won easy. But anyway, look, if we want boxing to survive, if we want boxing to thrive, we need super fights, like all the time. Fighters must fight each other. We have to come together. Promoters, Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, whoever's out there, let's come together. I'm calling you out. Let's come together. Let's meet the power of the minds and come up with something, because boxing can die. I'm calling you all out. Let's do this.
Crawford's challenge isn't just Charlo's skill. It's also fighting the urge to take things lightly after such an easy last win. But there's another concern, his health. Charlo has already experienced what it's like to face a true super middleweight and feel that power firsthand. After his loss to Canelo, Charlo was very honest, admitting that Canelo is a beast who dominates opponents. He also said part of the struggle came from it being his first fight in that weight class, and that he wished he had gained more weight for it.
I love boxing, so I'm not going nowhere and, just jump right into it. And, Canelo's a motherfucking beast, you know what I'm saying? He'll ox. Maybe I felt that more because of the fact that, this is my first time at that weight division. I wish I could have gained a little bit more weight in between, from the weigh-in to that time, but I can't control my body and I can't, but like God had this already written. And, I'm glad that I was in there with, to put on the performance for Showtime pay-per-view.
In your perspective, why don't you think he could have stopped Charlo?
No, he could have stopped Charlo. He should have. I mean, first of all, you had a fighter who was there just for the payday, literally. I mean, he's in the biggest stage of his life. Go out there and take some risks. Fight hard. People paid their money. People buy it on pay-per-view. Fight hard. Because when you fight hard, you don't lose anything. When it's a great fight, there's no loser.
Charlo's biggest advantage now is the experience he gained from facing real power at 168 pounds. He knows exactly what that strength feels like. Crawford, who began his career at just 135 pounds, may have managed to handle Canelo, but Charlo is now familiar with that level of force. When Charlo spoke about Canelo's power, it was a warning to Crawford: you don't yet understand how to manage that kind of strength. That fight grounded Charlo and made him even more dangerous going forward. De La Hoya, however, was furious about the Canelo-Charlo matchup, saying Charlo only took that fight for the paycheck and wasn't truly willing to take risks.
Despite what anybody say, that's a 50-50 fight. Canelo got good inside game, but he gonna have to get past Charlo long arms. And Charlo, he can use his reach good. He's strong. He got a good jab. It's a toss-up with me.
That's going. Charlo got that punching power. I'm just gonna say that.
I think Charlo's gonna take it. The reason why I say that is because he's just on another.
But that same criticism is exactly what makes Charlo so dangerous right now. He's already cashed the big paycheck and felt the sting of regret after giving a flat performance. The Charlo who steps in against Crawford won't be the same man who faced Canelo. This time, he'll be fighting to redeem himself, with nothing to lose and everything to prove. That kind of desperate, fearless Charlo is the one Crawford should worry about. Crawford's win over Canelo came from exploiting a predictable opponent, but Charlo, fighting for his pride and career, is unpredictable and hungry. It's a simple truth. Never underestimate a fighter who's been embarrassed in public and learned from it.
Elite level. So I think it's a great fight. I just think that the press conferences were freaking lame.
Why?
Just because it was all staged. I mean, come on, guys. Look, if you want to see Canelo pissed off, take a look at my press conference. With Munguia and Canelo. That's Canelo pissed off.
De La Hoya wasted my time with this question.
Yeah, we saw Oscar De La Hoya trying to say that the fight was going to take place maybe in the daytime.
Yeah, this is what I want from you, to say his name. I decide with Dana White to have a breakfast in MGM at 10 a.m. inshallah. Then we will go to the arena to have the fights quick, and after that we will go dinner to Carbon, and in the night we will watch Conjuring because it will launch in September. Oscar De La Hoya wastes my time with this question. Of course, this is in the peak. This is the boxing, the sport #1 in the world. This is Canelo and Crawford.
There's another story spreading online, especially on channels like Boxing Ego. It claims that Crawford's record is filled with damaged opponents. People argue he beat Ricky Burns, who wasn't that good, a 5 feet 5 inches Gamboa who had to move up in weight, a Jose Benavidez who'd been shot in the leg, a Kell Brook whose eye sockets were shattered, and an Errol Spence still recovering from a car crash and eye surgery. Some even say the Canelo he fought was past his prime and slowing down. If you believe that view, then Charlo, who's healthy, strong, and not recovering from any major injury, could be one of the first truly elite, fully fit opponents Crawford has ever faced. But let's clear this up right now. That damaged goods idea isn't true. Crawford's greatest weapon isn't power or speed, it's his fight IQ. People on Reddit have pointed out that Canelo only struggles against smart boxers like Mayweather, Bivol, and now Crawford. That's the real story. Crawford wins by breaking down opponents mentally, not just physically. He doesn't just beat fighters, he studies them, exposes their weaknesses, and takes them apart piece by piece. The issue isn't who he's fought, it's whether his sharp mind can once again help him overcome someone naturally bigger, stronger, and hungrier. Even Oscar said Canelo versus Charlo was boring, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. They barely threw any real punches that night.
So, you posted on social media the other day, you're kind of fired up about the Canelo fight. Why didn't you like that fight?
Because it was boring.
What?
I mean, when a fighter throws one punch, when two fighters throw one punch in one round, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I'm a fighter who has been in there, in the line of fire, throwing 100 punches around. Like, the fans want to be entertained. So that was my critique, is coming from a fighter, coming from a world champion. Yeah, I was bored.
Crawford's team would be wrong to think Charlo is an easy or boring fighter based on that Canelo bout. Charlo looked off that night because of the pressure, the power difference, the massive stage, and the jump in weight. He played it safe instead of fighting with confidence. But a match with Crawford would be a whole different story. Charlo wouldn't feel that same fear since he views Crawford as closer to his size. That flat performance against Canelo was a one-time thing, not his true form. Charlo has another gear he never got to use in that fight. As De La Hoya mentioned, that version of Charlo seemed like someone just collecting a paycheck. But against Crawford, we'd see the real Jermell Charlo, the focused, dangerous, undisputed champion. Underestimating him would be a major mistake. And while De La Hoya talked about money, that's just scratching the surface. The real drama is happening outside the ring. with promoter battles, betrayals, and billion-dollar lawsuits creating a mess that's now affecting the entire boxing world.
I just look, the fact that a new entity is coming into boxing and already wants to change a bill that has been in place for decades that protects fighters, to me, is shady. That's the bottom line. Think about it. It's shady. The first thing you want to do is change the law, change the rule, the Muhammad Ali Act, which protects the fighters. I instantly think about what they did with the UFC. I instantly think about the UFC signing hundreds, if not thousands of fighters, and they don't even see the light of day. There's total transparency with the bill. You're obligated as a promoter to disclose, everything that might be in the pot. The fighters call it the pot. And you're obligated to disclose, the financial status of your event, of the fighter's event. If you're a main event fighter or championship fighter, you have every right to look at the books. And with this amendment, they're gonna try and eliminate that.
Hearn set the tone early when he said the undercard fight for Canelo versus Crawford was a complete waste of money for the Turkish investors and that the matchmakers behind it should be fired.
I thought, I was proud that boxing was on Netflix, just being a purist of the sport. You feel proud. I was not happy with the matchups. What I saw the week of the Canelo fight, they tried doing some contender boxing stuff. You're having precious contenders, right? Who I know can become world champions 3, 4, 5 years down the road. They're getting eliminated and beat. And you're never gonna hear from them again. That's not fair to the fighter. Now, if that's fair business to them, more power to them. Let them build whatever league they're trying to build. It's okay. Boxing here is safe with me and Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, the serious guys in the sport. The guys who respect the history and the honor that comes with it. You have a global platform. Netflix, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Every fight that a new audience is gonna watch should have been a known name, should have been champion versus champion. The matchup should have been better. I thought it was a slow night, completely a slow night. It was still great for boxing because it's out there and people are watching all over the world, but it left a little bad taste in my mouth.
Rivalries and tension between promoters lead to weak undercards, which only hold the sport back. De La Hoya also expressed sadness over Showtime's exit from boxing, saying it's a loss for the sport but could open the door for new opportunities.
You met with Bob Arum yesterday. Is there anything you could share about that meeting, what you guys have going during the press conference?
Yeah, there's really no details I can mention, but let's just say that some really big fights are going to happen very soon. And that's why I called out all promoters like Eddie Hearn, like Al Heyman, who's probably going to be impossible to talk to because nobody ever sees him. But we want to bring promoters together to work together and just create and the biggest fights possible for the fans. That's all I want to do, and that's what boxing deserves.
With TKO stepping in, Showtime leaving, and promoters locked in lawsuits, the sport feels leaderless right now.
I just think that without that rule there, without that clause there, or wiping out the Muhammad Ali Act, the fighter is vulnerable. The fans are not gonna watch real boxing, and real boxing is the best talent that's developed fighting the very best talent. They're never gonna see that because they're gonna eliminate each other in their first fight, second fight, and guess what? If you don't win the second fight, you're gonna be shelved, just like the UFC does with their fighters.
For a fighter like Crawford, this chaos puts his 8-figure paydays at risk. He might be forced to take a fight like Charlo just for the money instead of waiting for the perfect matchup. The turmoil outside the ring is now getting in the way of his career.
His next move,
right?
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you got to close it off. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see in the future
I
for
don't
him?
know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that. Yeah.
Is Charlo even the right opponent? Oscar doesn't think so. He said, "You've got to pay attention to the shark circling beneath Crawford." Time is Crawford's biggest enemy now. Fighters like Charlo, Ennis, and Virgil Ortiz are all serious threats he can't ignore. At 38, Crawford doesn't have much time left before the younger, hungrier generation takes over.
Do you think there's any chance the winner of that fights Terence Crawford? I know he's 160.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Because that would be the next massive fight.
Absolutely. Right? I mean, imagine that. That would be the next massive fight. But then you have guys who are, the gatekeepers like Fundora.
Yeah.
Who's an amazing champion. I don't know how marketable that fight can be. We have to go through the system. And the system is WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBF. Because fighters, first of all, love fighting for world titles. That's the bottom line. And you cannot erase that history.
But De La Hoya believes Crawford must face them if he truly wants to be remembered as one of the greats, even if it means risking his undefeated record. The real question is whether Crawford is willing to sacrifice everything he's built to prove his greatness.